We played a lot of Skyforge PS4. Hey, Zach, you as well, right?
Yes, I did.
Well,
Skyforge has
actually,
been in my life on the PC ever since it launched
yeah.
there, and I took a break from it. And since they did a massive revamp recently, alongside the controller support being added, I decided to hop back in and play it a bit, as well as dab myself in the water a little bit on the PS4, just checking out technical side of things and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and seeing how much of it's different. So
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because it now came to PS4. By the time you watch this, it could be free as of April 11th, but before that, you could already get an early access pack, get some goodies as well, and play the game earlier than everyone else. And yeah, it was launched in 2015 on the PC, and I already loved it there. I already played it for 100 hours there, and I'm now kind of liking it more on the PS4, but that is also because I really feel that this game is really suited for the controller, because it's of course an sort of action type of MMO. You go to some sort of adventures, just small MMO type of dungeons. You can do it alone, you can do it with friends, and the kind of like thing that Skyforge does as well. Normally you pick your class at the beginning of the game and you stick with that till the end. Here you can unlock new classes. It's some sort of MOBA take on MMO where you kind of switch characters that all have their different abilities. They all have their different tactics and stuff like that. I really like that about the game. So overall, because you played it a lot, you kind of came back. Well, what is your overall feeling on Skyforge, and do you think that people should check it out on the PS4?
I think people should definitely check it out on the PS4. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I had issue with initially at launch, such as the caps, the convolutedness of the entire progression system, it changed a lot, got a lot more streamlined, it's a lot more simplistic. And as much as I'd rather just see like a normal leveling system, because it's a lot more
Yeah.
simplistic, easier to understand, at least now the game's doing something different but in a more polished way, where before it was doing something different but in a super weird bizarro way. And so I definitely think that for people who want something that's different, it's more sci-fi, more action oriented. It still has a lot of depth though within, being able to swap classes on the fly. It's a really fun game, and it's definitely a game that you can consume yourself in for hundreds of hours, if not longer, if you really get invested in it. And you can
Yeah.
earn pretty much anything that's on like the shop within the game as well, which is really nice.
Yeah, they give you a lot of free stuff as well. I also made a tips and tricks video where the first part of the video was just like, if you log in each day, just do these types of things, because it will really give you a ton of credits, and
hmm
with credits you can buy almost anything, and the premium just rewards you like with the double amount of resources, so it will just make sure that your progression is going 2 times as fast. So I really like that part of the game, and I also feel that Skyforge is, well, you can really just, I think that you did it right, but you kind of do that with all the MMOs. You just go all in, play this for like only this. But I kind of play this as a side game that I just go back to, finish a few dungeons, and then go back to my other game that I'm playing. And I think that it really, really is a nice game for just being a sort of side experience that you have fun with. And because I can see that it can get grindy later on. I mean, how they changed it right now is that there's like a world map that you can explore. This wasn't the case in the first one, so now you kind of feel the sense of, okay, I'm progressing to this world, while before it was like totally random.
Yeah.
What's awesome is that you do so many different adventures, and they all feel different. There are a ton of different enemies that you fight, but later on you will. I haven't finished like the whole world map yet. Have you?
No, even on the PC I haven't. I was
Because it
progressing
changed
towards
later.
I was progressing towards the province that's at the end of the first
Okay.
campaign map. But it's a pretty big map for you to go through, and there's also the multiple stories that you can go through as well. And when they initially released the new Ascension update, they added a lot of things too. I mean, from what I progressed through before and what I now have available to me, there's so much more there. And that might have been something that I would eventually have gotten to if I would have finished, the initial stuff I was working on. But it's stuff that feels fresh to me because it's stuff that was held back from me when I initially was playing. Because in the intro of Skyforge, you could literally play for 1,000 hours, and unless you threw money at them, your prestige wasn't going to go up because you'd be capped. And now that's not the case. Now you could play as much as you want, and your prestige will go up as you play. And that's a really nice thing because it no longer feels as if you have to pay to progress. It's more you pay them to maybe progress a bit faster, which is something that you see in a lot of free-to-play games. Now, there's issues with that in Skyforge that we could talk about, but it's one of those things where the PvP, I believe, is on an even scale if I remember correctly, so it's not a big deal in that regard. It's more of you just being able to get to the content that you want to play a bit quicker without really punishing everyone else, basically out of your own greed. So it's definitely a good transition for them. There's a lot of different variation within the maps too, and all the different mini dungeons that you go through. Then you have all the classes with the temples, which allow you to progress your class to get more abilities with said class. And since the equipment's now across all of your characters except for the weapon, which the weapon just gives substats, no longer is like a prestige boost, for instance, like it used to be. You are now able to basically swap from, say, like a cryomancer to a archer on the fly, not really lose anything from it except for those abilities, which you can then earn via the temple. And you can basically unlock a very diverse style of gameplay that you don't really see in other games, because even in like the Elder Scrolls Online, the Secret World, all those games that have different classes and the freedom of being able to swap have some limitations. With the Elder Scrolls Online, you're still locked to a specific class, but you can vary that class up quite a bit.
Four abilities that you can like put in your bar and stuff like that.
Exactly. And then the Secret World, you have to spend a lot of time to be able to switch, because you have to get the AP and the SP that's required for you to be able to be efficient with said weapon and said abilities. So there's always sort of a trade-off. And with Skyforge, I feel like it's one of, not necessarily the only game that does it, but it's certainly one of the very few games that allow you to now trade and switch classes whenever you want, just if you get bored. And then they have the weapons that drop off different monsters too, which are really powerful, and they just change the flow of the combat so much compared to what it used to be, because you pick up this weapon, you're like, oh, now I can just go through this really quick and just demolish everything. And you sort of play your mindset around that, which is a really cool and interesting and engaging style of gameplay that a lot of games just don't have.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I really like the weapon system as well. It just makes you feel a little bit overpowered, and there are a ton of different weapons as well. I feel like every type of enemy has one of their weapons, and you can totally change it that way. I really think that the unlocking of abilities, that's like the only way that or the only thing that stops you from changing like your class, because you might not think, okay, for this boss I really need the class with the most advanced abilities. But I found that unlocking all the abilities went pretty fast actually, so you can really just play a little bit play around, and you got all the abilities already, and then you can just choose the character that you want for that moment. I really feel that those changes were nice, because before I had my monk and I was only playing that, and then I wanted to switch to another class, but I just could not finish the dungeon with him because the gear was just under leveled and stuff like that. It's really cool. I think that, for example, what I also wanted to say with the first time you go through these like landscape is awesome, but like the thing that goes after that is just that you go back to these adventures as well, do a higher difficulty. But the cool thing is that I feel that the bosses also have like different abilities, and there are like different sort of activities that you can do to enhance your reward at the end. So for example, if you finish off you have some sort of finish attack with L2 on the PS4, if you have to do that 5 times, so you will also play a little bit differently. So they kind of throw those things in there to make sure that the experience, while it's the same adventure, it still kind of feels differently. So
And I
there's
mean,
also
it's I don't mean to cut you off. It's also not
no
all
problem.
rosy either. I mean, there's
Yeah,
issues the
totally.
game has. I mean, when it really comes down to it, you'll end up once you get to a certain point doing the same things over and over and over again. Maybe with added difficulty, maybe with a group, but you're gonna see a lot of the same content at the end game, and that's not something that's uncommon from MMOs that are out there, but some of the other stuff in the intro of the game even can feel a bit stale when compared to other single-player RPGs out there. So if you're not really playing with a group of friends, you may feel, okay, why am I playing this versus like, Mass Effect or Horizon or Zelda or any game that's currently out there that's an open world or semi-open world even RPG that may be in your backlog. And that's really where the free-to-play aspect comes in, where you're basically able to boot this game up for free, play it, test it out, see if you like it, and maybe have it, like as you mentioned, Jordan, as sort of a side thing that you can just come to if you want it to have some mindless fun that's a bit different from what you're used to, but still similar enough that you can get into it fairly quickly and understand it.
Yeah, it's totally that mindless, and that might sound bad, but sometimes you just wanna see. Yeah, it's like a sort of Diablo type of game.
Yeah,
you
that's
just,
a good comparison.
Yeah. You just see the loot. You know that you're progressing. You do have to do some. I think that the bosses are pretty smart sometimes. That you really, okay, if I do this, then I should. So there's like some sort of little, tactic that you also need to do. And I think that if you really, and I haven't done this like the raids and stuff like that. I think if you really are going in depth with that, then I think that you will find the sort of more hardcore aspect as well. While if you just play this on your own or do some dungeons like the bigger group adventures with some other players that are just random, you will have a great time with just, that's what I do at least, just a podcast on or some music and just playing. And for example, I also play Persona 5 right now, and I don't want any like distraction from that at all. While playing Skyforge, it's just lay back, kill some guys, the enemies look pretty awesome, and there's just a ton of content. So I think that there are some small things. For example, on the PS4, it's still not really optimized that well. Sometimes you can't move the menu like all you want. So I want to change my equipment, and then you just hit X all the time and it doesn't change anything. So there are like little things like that. The map is sometimes there, like one icon is like cut off, so you don't know what the name is, and it's just not really there yet. On the other hand, this was before it was free to play, so maybe on April 11th, at the time of this recording, we don't know this, they will have a patch that optimizes it even better. But in terms of frame rate, because I also saw a lot of comments about that, in terms of frame rate, graphics, stuff like that, I feel it's just fine for a PS4 game. I have no frame drops whatsoever. Playing on PS4 Pro though, but I played with boost mode, but also without. And without, it was just fine.
Yeah,
so,
I noticed in your gameplay, because I only played it for a short stint, so I didn't really get to extensively test it.
Yeah.
But I saw in your gameplay the frame rate did drop a little bit here and there, but it wasn't enough to really. I don't think a lot of people would care too much. But it's something that they could iron out in the future, and it could also just been a video issue as well. I mean, I wasn't there in the room, so I couldn't really tell firsthand. But yeah, I mean, it's really one of those things that by the time it launches, it probably will be optimized, because the game itself on the PC is barely optimized. I mean, it's not the best optimized game in the world, but it's optimized enough where I feel confident that once it's fully out for you guys, fully free to play for you guys, that you'll be able to have a smooth experience, maybe with some still UI issues, because the UI issues, from what I've seen, are the same that the PC has, which when it comes to the controller support. I mean, with the controller support on the UI for the PC, you have to still use your mouse every once in a while, because there's certain things that just don't really function well with the controller yet, even though the game itself, the gameplay wise, functions very, very well with the controller. So I'm sure they'll get all that ironed out, if not at the free to play launch, probably a little bit later than that, because they've tend to have updated this game a decent bit, and I think the influx of cash that the PS4 will bring is going to definitely incentivize them to make sure the experience is at least smooth enough.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I feel that their update schedule and the Allots team, they also made Allots Online, and you might not know that game, but I know that you do, Zach, but
Yes, Allods was a great game killed by the cash shop, unfortunately.
absolutely. So that's why they're pretty generous with this game, I feel. Yeah, that's only good. But yeah, you already saw it with that game, and I saw it again with Skyforge. The amount of updates they do is like pretty rapidly. They're really like on top of this, so it's cool for them, I think, to have this sort of new launch to make sure that a lot of new people are playing this. It's well suited. It's like one of the most perfect MMOs I feel on console, because it is so casual friendly that you don't really have to type and do sort of stuff, and there's not like this huge open world. You just have these small dungeons that take 10 minutes to complete, and it's really action heavy. So I think it's a really great fit. I think we both agree, like you already said, just try it out.
What was your favorite class, Jordan?
Monk. It's my
Monk.
favorite.
Oh yeah, so we're
like
both Monk fans.
Oh really? Awesome,
Yeah,
man.
I love my Monk.
It's not on PS4 right now, as of and the Witch is as well. So the Witch and the Monk are not out yet. Which pretty weird. The Outlaw is, well, that is the only class they've added. Like,
that's odd.
Yeah, so maybe they will add it as well in the April 11th update or
for you Avatar Last Airbender fans out there, the Monk is really fun to play. It reminds me a lot of the sort of changing between a different bending and based off the different stance you're in, it's completely different. So yeah, it's really fun.
I think that will be a great guide to play with the controller, actually.
I was enjoying the hell out of that with the controller. Cool. Oh, so fun.
At first it was not so good, so that's why I think they buffed it like after I quit playing on PC, because it was like I could play a Psychromancer, I did way more damage. Like,
oh, they were really powerful at launch. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a lot, Zach, for discussing Skyforge PS4. Let us know in the comments what you think about the game if you played it. We will have more gaming discussions up on the channel, so be sure to subscribe. Have some E3 predictions up as well, so be sure to check those out. Like the video if you did, and we will speak to you next time. Thanks a lot for watching. Goodbye.
Goodbye.